Love. It is the one thing that separates what we need from what we want. It is the one feeling that we not only fight for, but also against. I'm Smiti Srivastava, a psychodynamic psychotherapist, and I'm going to take you back in time in my life where making this distinction was not easy. The year was 2017. I was 4,663 miles away from home in a cozy student accommodation in Edinburgh. A few minutes past midnight, and I was scrolling on my social media. I had just come out of a long-term relationship ending, and I was reeling from the breakup. I was very sad and very tired about being sad. So I thought to myself, that's enough. I need to get out there and take some chances. I can't be sad all the time, and I'm so far away from home as well. You know, these things always happen when you're in the mood to take some chances, but you're not ready to follow the consequences that come with it. So there I was, back on my social media, and I see a ridiculously funny joke posted by a schoolmate I knew back in the day. And I thought, oh my God, maybe this is meant to be here on my feed. Possibilities felt like destiny is doing its magic on me. And I was eager to take that first step. So I commented on that joke. There was an instant spark, and a conversation flowed. Days turned to weeks. Weeks turned to months. We exchanged so many messages, pictures, voice notes, memes. Overall, there was a lot of lightness and a lot of laughter. But that's when it gets tricky, doesn't it? When there's a lot of laughter. So I was by myself, making me some dinner. I remembered a joke he told me, and I laughed to myself. But I blushed as well. And I thought, oh my God, why am I blushing about this joke? Have I got feelings for my friend? Does he like me as well? Maybe I'm overthinking this, and this is all just friendship. Now possibilities started to look like possibilities of romance. I had invited this idea into my consciousness, and there was no looking back. But he was a friend after all, so I let this feeling stay for a while. Time moved on, and the year came to an end. It was 2017, and by now, I had met my friend at least a couple of times. But each time I met him, there was some kind of dissonance in the way I experienced him online versus offline. Something didn't fit, but we kept talking. And I was thinking, what is this confusion? I'm a psychotherapist, so I don't let things slide. I would love to name the feelings. But here's the catch. Before I do that, I had to take a step back and reflect on my feelings. I had to be honest about what I wanted from this. What did I want to confront? Was this going to cause more clarity or confusion? No idea. So I thought about it, and I had to realize that I am not respecting my needs of this friendship. I went back in there, and I had a conversation with him. It was my moment of having this very big confrontation, and I thought, I'm going to tell him how I feel. And his ambiguity was so predictable about it. But let me tell you, that was the single most incredible thing that could have happened in my life. I was gifted with my own clarity. I felt emboldened by my self-awareness and my ability to stand with my truth of the relationship. His ambiguity freed me. And from there on, I knew that I had developed a skill of self-love that no one could take away from me. What I described to you is what we call a situationship. It is a combination of two words, a situation and a relationship, And it is a word that came into being in the year 2017 by a lady named Karina Shea. This was also a time where online dating was at an all-time high. Now, I've tried to do the impossible and tried to define these situationships into 3 broad categories. Okay, so the one that I was in, we're going to call it the friends in denial situationship. What happens here? 2 adults, they share a deep friendship and an emotional attachment. The friendship is so smooth that it almost feels confusing. What happens here? What is the situation? One person may catch feelings and become aware of it, and the other person is still confused and still in denial. This is the kind of relationship that will never get labeled. It will never see the light of the day. There is friendship, there's attachment, but there's grief. Let's move to the second type. I'm calling this the rigged situationship, pre-planned. You've heard of the term friends with benefits? This is it. In this situation, there are 2 adults that consent to be emotionally and sexually with one another, but with an expiry date. They have already had a conversation about how temporary this is. I'm just here for a few months, I'm here for a work trip, yada, yada, yada. And the confusing part is they are in the illusion that they're in control of their feelings. Feelings, the one thing we can never control. The other thing is that they don't know what to do once they start seeing other people. There is jealousy. What are our boundaries? Are we meant to be seeing other people? Is this an open relationship? But this is also the kind of situationship where people have reportedly felt happy, their stress levels have reduced, there is an increase in their emotional and sexual well-being. And I'm saying that there's a catch. It only happens if you stick to the rules of the game, if you stick to the expiry date. Because the longer you stay, the more you complicate this for yourself and you lose the plot. The third one, I'm going to call this the game changer fantasy situationship. What is the game? Now, this is the situationship where both adults are a step up from the friends and benefits. They are romantically involved with one another. There is a deep emotional connection. There may be a sexual relationship as well, but they have given themselves a special status. They almost cocoon themselves from the world and they say, you won't understand what's going on between the 2 of us. Only we know. No matter what happens, we keep coming back to one another. You may also say something like, I dated this other person, but I may come back to this later. This is my plan B, So you cocoon yourself from any kind of accountability. In all these 3 situationships, there are 2 adults where one person is avoidant, the other person is the seeker. The person that is emotionally avoidant struggles to take accountability of their decisions and their feelings. They don't know what to prioritize, they don't know what they want. The person that's the seeker also is emotionally unavailable to themselves. They are not being honest about what they truly want from this relationship, and they're selling themselves short. They're saying, I'm okay with you, and maybe I also want this, but they don't. And they're not being honest about it. So now that I've told you that situationships come with equal parts pain and grief, why are we still doing this? What's happening? Let's just get rid of it. Situationships are a problem. Well, I'm here to say that as long as there is love, there are grays. And there will be a way to avoid our commitments towards love. Situationships are a testimony that sometimes it is easier to have a story with a bad ending than no story at all. So now you're in a situationship and you have to get out of it. What do we do? There are 5 things that you can do. 1, be completely honest with yourself. What do you really want from this relationship? Do you really like it that it's casual? Do you really want to take it serious? Would you want to date this person if they actually are ready to commit? 2, don't make excuses for someone else's bad behavior. If they're doing something that you find disrespectful and you find yourself telling your friends, I understand. Maybe this person was busy and you don't know. Like, I know this person. You've misread the situation. You're making excuses for someone else. Catch yourself. Don't do that. 3, respect your time and someone else's as well. You don't want to go with the flow and so many months later realize that so much time has passed and maybe you could have met someone meaningful if only you'd been honest with yourself. 4, if you've decided that you want to date and you want a long-term relationship, date with intentionality. What is intentionality? That you know all of the above 3 things that I just told you. And 5, do not confuse love with desire. Love gives. Desire takes. Love thrives on familiarity, stability, security. Desire thrives on the exact opposite things. Risks, unfamiliarity, danger, unpredictability. Both of them don't speak the language, but they need each other. So of course, you're going to get confused. We live in a world where online dating culture seems to give us the illusion that there is a multiplicity of choice. We think that love is a lot of work and situationships are maybe easy. But I'm trying to tell you that situationships are a lot of work as well. They bring in a lot of grief and sometimes scars that leave your lifetime. Essentially, no relationship is fated to or destined to be a certain way. You are in full control of what's going on. Relationships are created by the choices we make, and you deserve the love you dream of having. Thank you. That's my time.